The phone rang at 6:17 on a cold Monday morning. I was standing in my kitchen, waiting for the kettle to boil, when I saw my daughter's name on the screen. Mom. Her voice was strangely flat. What happened, sweetheart? There was a long silence. Then she said, Grandpa died last night. My hand tightened around the phone. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My father, Arthur, was 91 years old. He had been weak for several months, but the last time I visited him, he had squeezed my hand and smiled. Don't worry about me, Emma, he'd whispered. I'm not finished yet. Apparently, he was. Oh, Sarah, I whispered. I'm so sorry. When did it happen? Last night, around midnight, and Grandpa left a will. Another silence. Then my daughter said something that made my stomach twist. You get nothing. I stared at the kettle. What? You heard me, Mom. Grandpa left everything to me and my husband. I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because the words sounded ridiculous. My father would never do that. Well, he did. Sarah, I don't want his money. I just want to know that he was comfortable. I want to say goodbye. You don't need to come. My heart sank. What do you mean? The funeral is private. I'm his daughter. I know. Then why wouldn't I be there? She sighed. Because Grandpa didn't want you around. That sentence hurt more than the rest. My father and I had argued many times over the years. But he had never told me he didn't want me. Where is his body? I asked. At the funeral home. I'll come. No, Mom. Her voice suddenly became sharp. You don't understand. Grandpa left instructions. You aren't getting anything, and you aren't part of the arrangements. Then she hung up. I stood in the kitchen for several minutes, staring at the phone. My name was Emma Carter. I was 58 years old. And that morning, for the first time in my life, I felt like a stranger in my own family. But I smiled, because there was something my daughter didn't know. 3 days earlier, my father had called me. Emma, he said quietly, if something happens to me, don't believe everything Sarah tells you. I remembered laughing. Dad, what are you talking about? I mean it. Are you worried about your will? No. He paused. I'm worried about my daughter. My heart had skipped a beat. Why? Because she's not the only one who has been visiting me. I had wanted to ask more. But he had said, come see me Saturday. I'll explain everything. Saturday never came. Now I understood. My father had been trying to warn me. I got dressed and drove to his house. The front door was locked. The curtains were closed. I knocked. No answer. Then I saw my daughter's car in the driveway. I knocked again. Sarah opened the door. She looked irritated. Mom, I told you not to come. I came to see Grandpa. He's gone. I know. I stepped inside. The house smelled exactly like my childhood. Wood polish, coffee, and the faint scent of my father's old tobacco pipe. I looked toward his favorite chair. It was empty. Sarah crossed her arms. You should leave. Why? Because there's nothing here for you. I looked at her. Did Grandpa really leave everything to you? Yes. Did you see the will? Yes. Who was the lawyer? She hesitated. Mr. Daniels, my father's longtime attorney. I nodded. Then I'll call him. You don't need to. I think I do. Sarah stepped closer. Mom, please, don't make this difficult. I haven't made anything difficult. You always do. Her husband, Mark, appeared behind her. Emma, you should accept that Grandpa made his choice. I looked at him. Did he? Mark smiled. Yes. I smiled back. Then you won't mind if I ask his lawyer. Neither of them answered. I left. The next morning, I called Mr. Daniels. His secretary told me he was expecting my call. Mrs. Carter, he said when he came on the line, I was hoping you'd contact me. Did my father leave a will? Yes. Did he leave everything to Sarah? There was a pause. No. My heart stopped. What? I think you should come to my office. An hour later, I sat across from him. He placed a thick envelope on the desk. This was signed by your father 6 days ago. My hands trembled as I opened it. I read the first page. Then the second. My eyes filled with tears. My father had not left everything to Sarah. He had left almost everything to me. The house, his savings, his investments, and something else. A small note was attached. I unfolded it. Emma, if you're reading this, then I was right to be afraid. I love you. I always have. Don't let guilt make you give away what I worked my whole life to protect. Then came the final sentence. And please forgive Sarah. She doesn't know the truth. I looked up. What truth? Mr. Daniels leaned back. Your father discovered that Sarah had been secretly withdrawing money from his accounts. My mouth fell open. How much? Nearly $200,000. I felt sick, but why would she do that? She told him she needed it to save her marriage. I closed my eyes. Then Mr. Daniels said, "Your father didn't want her arrested." He didn't. No, he wanted to give her one final chance to tell the truth. I suddenly remembered his phone call. "I'm worried about my daughter." That was what he meant. But there was one more envelope. Mr. Daniels slid it toward me. "This was recorded yesterday morning." I pressed play. My father's voice filled the room. "Emma, if you're hearing this, I'm probably gone." I covered my mouth. "But I'm sitting beside you in spirit, so don't cry." I smiled through my tears. "Your sister was never supposed to inherit everything. I changed the will because I wanted to protect you." He paused. "And because I wanted Sarah to learn that family isn't something you can buy." The recording ended. I sat silently. Then Mr. Daniels said, "There is one final condition." "What?" "Your father left Sarah the family home." I stared at him. "But I thought, he left you the investments and business interests." "Sarah gets the house, but only if she repays every dollar she took. And if she doesn't, the house goes to charity." I understood. My father hadn't wanted revenge. He wanted accountability. That evening, I returned to his house. Sarah opened the door. She looked confident. Well, I handed her a copy of the will. She read it. Her face turned white. "No." Mark grabbed the papers. "This is fake." "It isn't," I said. Sarah looked at me. "You knew." "No." "Then why did you smile that morning?" I looked at my daughter for a long moment. "Because Grandpa taught me something." "What?" "That when people try to bury the truth, they usually forget one thing." She stared at me. "What?" "The truth doesn't stay buried." Sarah began crying, and for the first time, I didn't know whether to hug her. So I simply said, "Tell me everything." She lowered her head, and finally, she did. My father had been right. He hadn't left me a fortune. He had left me something far more valuable. The truth, and the chance to save my family before the lies destroyed it completely.